If you have ever looked at the mountain of ideas sitting on your Google Drive and thought, I know I could turn this into something amazing, I just don't know where to start, you are going to love this episode. I am chatting with the powerhouse that is Conny Twomey about how to turn your passion, experience, and even that messy middle into digital products that sell, funnels that actually work, and a business that aligns with your life, not one that drains it. Business coach, wife, and mum, Connie helps entrepreneurs and small businesses leverage the power of social media to create offers that they just can't stop talking about, develop lean systems to increase profits, and build an unshakable wealth mindset. She firmly believes that you are never too young or too old to reinvent yourself or to follow something that feels good and lights you up. Join us as we chat about how to uncover your most profitable idea that is most likely hiding in plain sight, using AI as your brainstorming BFF, building a funnel that feeds your business without draining your energy or your bank account, reviving digital products you have shelved, and so much more. Whether you're dreaming about your first digital product or you're ready to breathe new life into unfinished projects that are sitting there gathering digital dust, this episode is here to help you stop playing small, light that fire, and start creating and selling your offers that only you can bring into the world. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Unapologetic Mompreneur, the podcast for mums with an online business who are ready to take back their time, home, business, and self so they can restore the balance and thrive, both at home and at work, without feeling like they have to choose between the two. I'm your host, Sarah Dew, life and biz coach for mumpreneurs. I'm also a mum, stepmom, wife, introvert, breast cancer survivor, and your mentor for making a change for the better. I've learned how to go from surviving to thriving and unapologetically create a business I love and the life I want for me and my family without worrying about what other people think. And now I'm here to help you do the same. Because being an unapologetic mompreneur doesn't mean that we're selfish or that we don't care about others. It simply means that we are not afraid to show up as our true, authentic selves, to step into our purpose, do what we know is right for ourselves and the ones we love, and take the steps we need to take to make our dream life and business a reality. Join me each week where I'll be sharing all of my best tips and strategies, plus the occasional dose of tough but gentle love to help you feel empowered, motivated, and confident to take action so that you can become the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. So, are you ready to unapologetically create a business and life you love? Let's do this. Hey, Connie, and welcome to the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast.
Sarah, thank you so much for having me. It is so fun to be here, and yeah, I'm excited.
Fantastic. Super looking forward to it. We connected a little while back. I think we were both in a bundle together, weren't we? And you reached out on
Mhm.
Instagram. And I absolutely love when that happens. It's one of my favorite ways to connect and meet other women in business and just and have you guys on the show. So I'm super excited of all of the stuff that we're going to be sharing today, diving in all about steps and your tips and strategies for creating an offer that we just can't stop talking about. So before we dive into
Exactly.
everything that I know that we're going to share today, do you want to just share who you are, what you do, your journey and everything, and your family and all of that stuff that's brought you to where you are now, but just in case anybody listening or watching on YouTube hasn't met you yet?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can do that. So, my name is Conny Twomey, and first of all, the accent is because I'm from Germany. So that's my background there. I've lived in many different places in Europe, and then we came to the US in 2010. Lived in Colorado for a couple of years, and then in Naples, Florida, which is where we are right now. And I was that typical, female overachiever that went the traditional school route from bachelor's, master's, PhD, online MBA. And while that has gotten me into great corporate positions, it also has reached a level where I experienced the good old boys club being alive and well, and burnout and everything that came with it. And so I was actually eventually fired from my job that I created for myself. But while that was definitely a very, very dark moment, it also fully allowed me to step into that next version of myself because literally that same morning, I told myself the numbers. with me at this company are the days at this company are numbered. And I already had that feeling. I literally had that feeling. And I knew I needed something else. I knew I needed the change. And I also knew that I simply wanted to be with my family and my kids because while I have these two beautiful children that are at this point 5 and 8, I was working 60 to 80 hours a week, never seeing them. I would have weekends, I would have the happy hour after work. And it was just this thing where I felt like this is not made for moms that want to have a life and a family and a career at the same time. And while I'm pretty sure some make it work, it didn't work for me. And it's okay that it didn't work for me because I know there's so many other opportunities. And at this point, I'm sharing them with more women out there because I know there are different options. So yeah, I started looking into, what other ways are there? I didn't necessarily want to just give up my entire career because and I think this is a big misconception. Well, people think, oh, if I do something else, that I completely leave that behind. And that's not the case. You just take the best parts at what you are so good at with you, and you find something else that you can implement them into. And so, what I'm really good at is data and analyzing data and working with people. And I love talking and connecting with people. And I love helping others. And I love educating and coaching them. I'm also a certified yoga teacher. Yeah, so there's so much to unpack there. But at this point, I really help people find an offer and create an offer that they can't stop talking about and thinking about, and really create that extra income for them that they deserve, that they desire. And I know that's possible.
Wow, I love all of that. And I think you're absolutely right, spot on there. That, well, so, like you said, there's so much there that I could instantly unpack. Just as I'm saying it, my brain is like, and yeah, definitely there's just so much there that we have all of those skills and we think that if we're stepping away from that to then go and do something else, that we're leaving it all
Mhm.
behind. And we're really not. There's so much, even just like most recently with my business, I've learned that because I'm doing something so different to what I was doing when I was working in the corporate world and space and for national charity and in emergency preparedness, which is so unrelated to what I'm doing now. But there were so many skills and so many things that I learned and that I did and the processes and what my skills were that I'm now actually applying in my business. And I think that's a
Right.
really valid point that sometimes we forget that, don't we? That actually we've
Hmm.
already learned a lot even if we're doing something totally different. So I love that you just shared that. And
Yeah.
absolutely, all that thought of doing all of those hours and missing out on all those precious moments with our babies, that's why we do what we do, isn't it? That's why we start our businesses, so
Yes.
that we have that time freedom. And sometimes it can still feel like we're working those 60 hours weeks, even though we're really not. But yeah, it does. And especially when you're passionate about it, it's hard to switch off sometimes, isn't it? But yeah,
Oh, and
let's
it's
dig
so
into
hard.
it all.
Yeah. No, and I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but you're
No,
completely
not at
right
all.
because you're doing something that you're actually fully aligned with and you're enjoying and you have that passion. And it's not like, oh my God, I have to drive to the office, I have to be there. It's exhausting. I don't like the colleagues, I don't like the boss, I don't like what I'm doing. But where that's like it's a drain and you're dreading it to be there. Whereas, if you work on your business, there are days when I work 2 hours, there are days when I work 10. Doesn't matter, but it feels completely different. And I choose to do it or I choose to not do it. And I can work on a Saturday, maybe a little bit, but I can also take a Monday off and simply reschedule my life around my family and my kids. And coming back to that corporate life, I was that mom that had to cancel and not attend my, at that point, daughter's kindergarten graduation because there was some meeting where I had to be. And I was literally crying in the office bathroom for half an hour because I was so sad that I couldn't be there. And I know my daughter was crying that day. And this still gets me emotional to this day because, like, she brings it up and she's like, but you weren't there. And I was like, yeah, shit, I wasn't. And sorry. But, I mean, that was kind of the wake up moment where I was like, this isn't right. Like, it's not right. It shouldn't be this way. Like, that should be a priority.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is those moments like that that give us that wake up, like, oh, this is like you said, this isn't right. And I had that when I had my first business where I was doing event management when my boy, well, I was pregnant with my boy when I'd already started it and had it, and trying to juggle that when he was newborn. And there's that moment when my husband, even though I was working at home rather and I'd already at that point left my corporate job, there was still that moment where he walked in and I've literally got Harrison sitting on my lap between me, and then I've got the laptop one side, we've got the TV in front of us, and it was evening evenings and weekends with local authorities, and the events were weekends. It's like, no, this doesn't work. And you really do have to
Yeah.
just like, okay, what is going to work? We want to be there for those moments and using the thing that we're passionate about. And I love how you've taken your passion for your data and everything else that you do and analyzing everything and working with people. And you can really see that in what you do. And you've brought that to now like what you teach and share about creating an offer that you can't stop talking about because you're passionate
Hmm.
about it. And that's
Yeah.
definitely something that is so important, especially we've got online businesses, of being able to create and take our expertise, take our knowledge. And you've already said about how you're now able to help and support so many other people because of what
Mm.
you're doing and because it's digital and it's because it's online.
Yeah.
And being able to package up our expertise and do it and sell it and just help so many other people. So for those of us that are listening that are new to all of this maybe, or they know that they've got a ton of resources and things dashed away, but they've not done anything with it, they've got some expertise that they could package up and sell as a digital product and know that they can help so many more. How do we get started with that? And I know that you've got a freebie that we're going to make sure that we share the link for,
Yes.
of a masterclass in the end, at the end of the show
Hmm.
notes. But let's dive into that, because I know that you've got like 3 steps to creating a profitable digital product. Let's take us through it. Talk us about how we get started and how we make it work
Yes.
and turn our expertise into something that we just cannot stop talking about.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah. And that's just it, right? So many people think that uh, their knowledge and what they do and what they're known for and what they're really, really good at is just not good enough to make money with it. I hear it over and over. Like it's maybe the mom that's home cooking or that's organizing or that's a really, really amazing baker or the guy that's fly fishing. And these are actual examples that I've helped with, which is so powerful. So if you are known for something, if you are a yoga teacher, if you are into fitness, if you have a weight loss journey, or if you have this experience that's very unique to you, but there are thousands of other people that can relate to it, even though it might be very niche down, very specific, it's still something where so many people will resonate with it. And so, what you want to do is you want to then use social media because social media is free, it's organic. You have all the options in terms of finding your ideal clients. Because, I mean, social media, I think only Instagram or Instagram alone is used by 650 million people every single day. So, if you want to tell me that your buyers aren't out there and your clients aren't out there, then that's just wrong, right? Because they're definitely there. And just because your family or your aunt or your brother and sister may not understand what you're doing, still doesn't mean that it can't be done. Because that is definitely something that a lot of people, I guess, work against, that they think, oh, I don't know
Mm.
if I can do it, if this is for me. Well, if you don't try, you will never know. So what I realized is that, there are actually very simple steps to figuring out, first of all, if you're in that spot where you're like, oh, I'm passionate about this and that, but I'm not entirely sure, there's a process of finding out what you want to use to monetize an account. And I always say, your social media presence is your best created, self-created resume, because you can create it however you want. You can decide what pictures, what font, what's your brand. It's literally a resume that you curate yourself. So then, okay, you want to find your first digital product. How do you do that? And I always say, how do you do it faster with AI in half the time? So the steps that I shared in this masterclass that I held last year, they're so simple yet so specific that first of all, you want to simply write down all the things that you're really, really good at. Or not even that. All the things you are really passionate about. Let's say you love gardening, baking, cooking, cars, whatever it is. You make a really nice long list, 20, 30, whatever it might be, just a brain dump, just get it all on paper out there. And I love to actually write it out, because there's something where I feel like if you write it with your own handwriting, you access yet another level of your thinking. So just write it out. Give it some time. Next day, you come back and you can scratch out the ones that you're not good at. So let's say, okay, you love gardening, you love cars, you love whatever else it might be, knitting, yoga, meditation. You scratch out the ones that you're not good at. Maybe you love gardening, but all your plants die. Well, it's probably not the best fit, right? So
I can totally
we,
relate to
we
that.
not everybody has the green thumb, so it's okay. So we scratch that one out, or those ones out that you're not good at. Even though you like them and you enjoy them, that's fine, but you're simply not good at it. So you're left with a list of maybe, 5, maybe up to 10 that you actually enjoy and you're decent in or even pretty good at. And then from there, you want to go one step further and you want to find out the one specific problem for the one specific person that you are solving. And that's kind of where the magic happens. And that's where you want to use AI to do a lot of brainstorming. And it's a process where, you look at other accounts, what's out there, what's something people have already done, because we're not recreating the wheel. Like, it's not like we are finding the next technology to fly to Mars. Like, if that's you, then maybe reach out to Elon Musk, but not to me. Like, we're not recreating the wheel. We're trying to find something that you're really good at because you are different than someone else. And just because someone else has already done it doesn't mean you can't. It's, in my mind, it's social proof. If someone else is already doing it and they're doing it really well and there's a lot of interest, chances are that if you share that too in your own voice with your own knowledge, that you can also be successful with that. So that's just one step right there. So those are some of the main activities you want to go through.
Fantastic. That is so, so true as well, because we can think that if it's already been done already, and it's something
Mm.
that I see come up time and time again with my clients when we're looking at things with them, is like, well, it's already been done, or it's already out there, or it's going to look like somebody else. But nothing is brand new, unless, like you said, it's a technology flying to the moon. Nothing is brand new. And even some of that is not brand new. So, it's just our spin on it, isn't it? And especially when we're doing things where we're offering services and people are working with us, they want to work with us. It's the personality, the person, their own life
Yes.
experiences, what they are bringing to the table, and how they are connecting directly with you. And it's the same with all. You think about all of the different plumbers out there, all of the different electricians, and all of the different life coaches that are out there, and all of the other coaches that are in my
Yes.
field. There's hundreds and thousands probably of them on Instagram in 10 minutes, but they're all different, and we choose them because of something about them that resonates, and they're
Yeah.
probably sharing. And if they've done the same certifications, they're in the same membership programs as them, they've probably done it and gone through all of the exact same modules. But it's exactly, it's just what they're bringing, their life experience and
Mhm.
how they're doing it, that sells that magic. So I love that you've shared of like just brain dumping down all of the things that you love and that you're passionate about, but then actually also being really honest about what are you good at, what is your story behind it, what have you got a method to it that you can share that is going to make it simple for people. That is just brilliant. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah. And chances are there's something that's a little different, right? That's a little different than how somebody else teaches it. There's a little difference in, I mean, there's definitely a difference in your personality because nobody is just like you. And so it's just that's what's the attracting part to that other person on the other side of the screen, because you are your own unique individual and nobody else can replace that. And nobody else, I mean, they can try to copy it, but they're not. And I would also say, talk about copying, do not, even though you find someone that's doing similar stuff than you do not, please, for the love of God, copy what they're doing. Just put your own spin on it. That's a must.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I've been in that situation. I think we've all been in it. If you've been in the online space for any length of time, you do see that. And, I've had moments fairly recently where I've had blog posts and podcast episodes taken and turned into somebody else's Instagram posts. And you just
Mm.
think, yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And we've all got our own spin. We've all got our own opinions. We've all got our own ideas and experiences. Bring that to the table and turn it into something fantastic. Because, and you're right, we're all going to have something different about it. So I love that you shared that. So how do we go then if it's, say we've been like in business for a little bit of a while, we've created a few things, we've dabbled a bit, we haven't quite stepped out and done it yet. How do we pick something if we've got loads of things stashed away on our PCs that are gathering digital dust that we've never done anything with? We've got all that content and we think all the time that we should be creating something new to share all the time, but we've already got all of that incredible stuff. How do we sift through that and decide what to then take and actually say this could be a good digital product? How can we get hold of that and package that brilliance up and turn it into something that is going to make us some money?
I love that. So, especially when it comes to digital dust, that's real, right? Because as you said, we tend to just keep create something new, create something different. Whereas in reality, sometimes, yes, while that moves you forward, there are still people that start at the beginning and that are at the spot where they're just getting started right now. So while you might be evolving, your brand might be evolving, you can still package it in a way that you're still talking to the customer that's just in the beginning of their journey, unless, and this is really a personal choice, you say, okay, I'm so far beyond that, I don't want to do this anymore, I simply leave it behind. So that can of course be an option, but it doesn't have to be. So I would say if there is something that someone has tried in the past and they've done that in the past and it's literally just sitting around, Well, first of all, take that first step, right? You got to take that step to do it because there's always the thought of, oh, I'm going to do it when that XYZ and all the stars align and the moon is red and we're doing it. No, like it's you will always find an excuse to not do it, but you will never know until you actually do it. So at some point there has to be that spot where the courage is there. You feel like, okay, I can do this. I have confidence. I have the motivation, and maybe that is by hiring a coach. Maybe that is by being in the right rooms with the right people. Maybe that is by finding a resource online that tells you the steps. It doesn't really matter if Sarah is your coach, if I'm your coach, but at some point there needs to be that little fire inside of you that says, okay, we're doing this, like no matter what, no matter the outcome. And that's kind of where my data mind comes back because at this point, I don't believe in failure anymore. It's just a step forward and I'm learning something from it. And I don't know if you've heard that, I love the abbreviation of fear. Fear is not fear, fear is false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, I would honestly probably tattoo that somewhere on my body because it's like false evidence appearing real. I mean, that's all it is. It's ingrained in you because maybe someone at some point told you that, but you can't do that. Isn't that hard? Isn't that really difficult? And that's someone else's opinion, right? That's someone else projecting their limiting beliefs onto you. So let's just put that aside and come back to, okay, do I feel aligned with this offering? Does this make me happy? Does this get me fired up? Can I actually talk about this for an hour with my friends or someone that wants to hear about it without stuttering and being really, really passionate about it? And that's typically where I can already tell if someone is aligned with their offer or not. Because if you can't passionately share your offer and really talk about it, then there's probably some disconnect. So evaluate for someone that has all that digital dust and some products lying around, like evaluate what products you have out there and if they still really light you up. Because if they are, then bring them back. Like do a a little launch where you say, hey, we're revamping this and it's now 2.0 or whatever it might be. Do a little spin on it, bring it back out there. Chances are the ones that already have it may not, but over time you may have got some new leads and they might be interested. So as you said, don't reinvent the wheel. Simply recycle, upcycle, reuse, but go for it. Go for it. And let fear go way back there.
Brilliant. That is like when I came across that false evidence appearing real, it was just like this, like, whoa, actually, that's
Right?
really cool. And it really takes away the power of it, of where it stops and holds us back, doesn't it? And
Yes,
we can just
yes.
go, yeah, that's fine. And I'm sure you're absolutely right. It's like the data side of you where you just see it as that is that and it helps like with the emotion of like chipping away at you of like, and it's brilliant. But that tip you just shared about looking at what you've already got and saying, does it still light me up? And it's okay to bring it back if it does. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that because guarantee we probably all got and can probably think of something right now instantly that is sitting. I certainly can. I've got a whole bank of masterclasses that I don't sell as a membership anymore. And I'm like, oh, actually, I still really like that. So we've definitely got that. So yeah, that is such a great tip is just go back and look at what you've already had and done and masterclasses or meditations or whatever it might be that you've done and had in the past, and mini courses and all sorts of things. And can I bring it back or can I add something new to it? And just releasing it as version 2.0. That's also another like really good mindset reframe of okay, it maybe didn't work before, as it's not a failure if I'm bringing it back and all of that. I'm just going to redo it as 2.0. It's fresh, it's new, it's
Mhm.
exciting. I really love that you shared that. So you briefly mentioned about using AI and using it to help you doing it in half the time. Do you have some tips for us getting started on doing that? And like you said, it's kind of like a brainstorming exercise. And how do we get that to, how do we infuse and put our information into that? And then what sort of things do you ask to get it back? But how do we then still make sure that we ourselves and our personality comes across and it's not just all of the generic
Oh yeah.
robotic sounds that we always get in AI? What are your
Yeah, yeah.
tips for that?
No, so when I use AI, I never ever ever, and I really want to make that clear, take what it spits out and just use it. Like that's not how I use AI. So I see AI as my virtual assistant, and we're going back and forth and we're having little chats and we're saying, hey, like I'm trying to work on this. Like, how can I package that well? Or what other offer can you can literally ask ChatGPT and say, what other offer can I create based on what I already have here? And so that's where, I use it to bounce off ideas or come up with, like what would be, you can literally ask it, what would be another great offer that would go along with this, with whatever you already have. And then, maybe you ask it, hey, give me three options. And then you can look at these options. Is it aligned? Is it not aligned? So I simply use it as a virtual assistant that's giving me ideas that I may otherwise not have. It's basically my, I don't want to call it coach, but it's another virtual person that I have a conversation with around what we're doing. And specifically when it comes to using AI to, cut down the time in half when it comes to your first digital product, that's something I share in my freebie. And you can definitely access that. So I have a very specific question that I plug in there. So you can, like think about it, gives you a couple different options. And then I always say, with whatever it spits out, which one, once again, lights you up? Which one's is exciting? And which one is just like, yeah, sure, I could do that, but here's also the other thing, because so many times, and I found that with some people in my coaching group, we tend to get excited about many different things. But then what happens is if you get excited about all these different things, your attention goes to all these different things. And you really, 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 really want to focus on one thing, at least first, because it's almost like proof of concept, right? If that thing you're so passionate about, you focus solely on that, you will be successful with it. I can guarantee you that. But if your attention all of a sudden goes squirrel brain and you're like, oh, look over there, shiny, we could do that too. And that we could do that too. And it's hard for us because I mean, I'm definitely on the ADHD side as well, where it's like, oh, but I could do that. And then there's this. And it's like, nope, focus. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing first. And you can always add on later on. But, let's first get to that one spot.
Love
And that
it.
can
That
be a
is
hard
such
one
an
for
important
some
point.
people.
It's definitely hard. And you're saying that my ADHD brain, it was completely like, yep, I've just been called out. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. Yeah, that's something that I definitely, and I think because also as when we're entrepreneurs, we've got our own businesses, we are so multi-passionate, aren't we? That it is difficult
Yes.
and we want to do all of the things. So I think that's a really valid point that you shared, and a great tip to keep at the back of your mind is pick something, does it light you up, but then stay in your lane with it, give it time to bed in, give it time to promote it and share it. Don't just do it once and go, oh, that doesn't work, and go off and do something else. It took me a very long time to learn that with my business of what to do, because I just put something out once, or I just scarily hit publish on an email, not get any sales. Oh, that doesn't work. And I'd go and do something else.
Mm.
And it's only these last 2 years or so where I've really honed in of like, what does light me up? What feels right? What feels aligned? Stick with it, Sarah. Don't get distracted. Keep it going.
Mhm.
And I love that all the way through that you've just shared, and even with the suggestions that ChatGPT comes up with, it's like, yeah, that's okay, but this one lights me up. Go with that and follow that. And that's very much what the unapologeticness is all about. If I have an exercise that I do with my clients of your biz your way, and that is the unapologetic test of putting everything to that test. And
Mm.
does it light me up? Does it bring me joy? Does it feel aligned? If not, then I don't need to do it anymore. And
Perfect.
if we're
Yeah.
not doing it, it makes way for the things that do. So I love that you shared that, and that staying in your lane. That is just brilliant. I could talk about all of that side of it for all day with you. And we already spoke actually, didn't we, before we came on, that we're going to have to do a double episode, because I know that you've got a whole other bit all about the funnels and making it easy as well. So we're going to definitely have you back and talk to you about the funnels. But before we go,
Absolutely.
let's just talk a little bit about that, because once we've got the product and once we've got it out there, we can't stop talking about it. We're super passionate about it. I know that a big part of what you do is having those, and you have a program for it too, of having those funnels in place so that we
Hmm.
can, and doing it simply in a way that we can then continue to make as much money from it as possible without having to pay out for all of the different expenses and everything that go with it. And we can dive a whole lot deeper in that when we have that next episode. But
Yes.
just for anybody that's just thinking about it and they're thinking, okay, yeah, I've got something that is sitting on my digital dust, I can create, I can put it back out there, I can turn it into a product. But then what do I do with it that I can make sure that it keeps making me sales every day? How do I keep showing up? How do I keep sharing about it? And they've probably heard the word funnels in conversations and in space, but do you want to just share exactly what that means and how they could get
Mhm.
started just creating some kind of simple funnel that's going to make their life easier and bring some sales in for them?
Absolutely. So what I always say is, with a digital product, I see it almost as like different boxes. So you have a digital product. What I always say as well is create some affiliate links or grab some affiliate links that match what you're doing, if it makes sense, because the affiliate links can live in your digital product. Your digital product then needs to get out there, right? You want it to sell, but how does it sell? So you need some sort of system, software to actually get it out there so someone can click on that link in your bio or in your highlights or wherever it might be, and then access that. So that is something where I found that too many people stop doing what they're doing and what they're really good at because of the reoccurring cost of really expensive software when you're just starting out. Because chances are, there's Standstore, ClickFunnels, Aweber, Linktree, Beacon, I mean, you name it, they're out there. They're all out there. But a lot of times when you're starting out, you are not using these programs to their fullest potential. Yet they're charging you 100, 200, 500 per month. So when you're starting out, it doesn't make sense, right? And I don't want someone that has an incredible idea to simply stop because they can't afford the cost of their software in the back end. So I always start all of my clients on a software that actually starts out for free. Can you upgrade it at some point? Sure, you can. But when I started, it was $27 a month. I think that's very affordable because I wanted to keep the profits for me and then grow in my business and not just spend it on a software that, then every month I break even or I'm even in the negative. So that doesn't make sense to me. So that's why I literally am so excited about funnels and creating them. And that's where my data mind comes in again. It's like, okay, let's create a funnel that actually hosts your freebie, your thank you page, has your first digital product, the sales page and the thank you page, and has an email automation in the back end to then use the email automation to connect with those leads again. And yeah, your funnel should be your best friend. It should make you money. It shouldn't eat you up alive. And that's just a tiny snippet about funnels where we can go into way, way more depth.
Brilliant. That's super useful. And to know that you can do it simply as well, because like you say, especially when you're first starting out, all those expenses, you just look at it and you just think, oh my goodness, I can't do that. I would just have to sell, 50,
Mhm.
100 of my product before I can just to break even or even just still staying in the red to cover the costs. And knowing that there are ways that we can do that, that it doesn't cost us a fortune to start with, just takes away that pressure, doesn't it? Because then if you've got that
Yes.
added pressure that you've got to sell X amount before you can even start seeing any return, when you're just starting out, that's super scary and it can just
Oh,
make you
it's
just go,
stressful.
yeah,
hmm
I'm not going to
And
do that.
it
Totally.
activates your scarcity mindset. And then from there, once you are in scarcity mindset, I mean, you will develop squirrel brain again because you'll be like, oh, I could make money with this and I could make money with that. And then all of a sudden you get way distracted and then you stop because it's not working. Meanwhile, it's because your mindset wasn't set up the right way and you didn't set up yourself for success.
Yeah, that's so, so true. I love that. This has been so much fun. I really feel like it's gone so fast already. And I'm thinking there's so many other questions and things that I could ask you. Before we wrap up, and we're going to chat quickly about your freebie in a moment as well and how they can find it. Is there any other like last minute kind of wrap up words of wisdom, nuggets, one thing that you would love to share with everybody before I ask you the question that I love to ask all of my guests on the show?
So I think, the biggest thing that's probably holding you back is procrastination and comparison and just having that fear. So eliminate the fear. It's just false evidence appearing real. You can do it. You can do the scary thing and put yourself out there, no matter what anyone else says about it, thinks about it, or what you may have that fear about. Like simply do it and do it with so much trust in yourself because I know that all those desires, I always say they're green lights. Follow that desire and actually make it happen.
I love it. Follow the green lights. That's such a great way of looking at it. I love it. So lifting and looking at what lights you up and fills you with joy, and staying in your lane and following the green lights. Brilliant. Just those in
Yes.
itself is just like that's the path. Fantastic. So before we wrap up, then one question that I always love to ask all of my guests is, what does being an unapologetic mumpreneur mean to you, and how are you showing up unapologetically every day, both as a mum and as the boss of your business?
Ooh, I like it. So I have truly made my family and my children the center of my business because I want to be unapologetic around what I do, how I spend my time, and how I live my life. And at this point, I have realized or come to the realization that it's not around seeking approval from anybody else around what I do. And that took me a long time to get to exactly that spot because there was the people pleasing, there was the, oh, but, validating others in. I got all these degrees and now I'm leaving them behind, so to say. No, I'm not leaving them behind. I'm following my passion. I'm being truly unapologetic around who I am, how I show up every day, what I wear, what I dress, what I say, and how I live my life. And I think it's still a point where it rubs people the wrong way once in a while. But I also realize that that's something that's within them and it's not within me because I'm living my best life over here, living in abundance, connecting with amazing people like you, Sarah, with others through summits that I'm planning. And there's nothing that I need to be ashamed of. And I simply live unapologetic every day in my business as a mom, as an entrepreneur, and nothing will change that.
I absolutely love that. That is amazing. And yeah, definitely hit the nail on the head for me of what really resonated there of doing your thing. And okay, other people might not like it and rub them the wrong way, but it says something about them. And I just absolutely love the fact that you are just standing in your power and owning what is right for you and your family. That is just
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Connie. This has just been incredible. I cannot wait to have you back, and we're going to dive super, super deep into funnels. And yeah, probably could talk about that with you for hours too, just like this topic. So awesome. Before we go, then, do you want to just share a little bit about your freebie, how people can find it, what it's about? And also, I know you've got a summit coming up, and this is going to be
Yeah.
going out just before the summit goes live. So we'll make sure that we share the link for that as well, so people can go and tune into that too. So yeah, just share all of your links where people can find you, Instagram, and all of your freebie and your summit. Go for it. Let's share, and we
Got
can
it.
make sure all the links are there too.
Okay, so you can find me at Work with Conny. That is work with all in one word, and Conny, Conny, on Instagram and on Facebook. I don't really love TikTok. I played around with it, but it's not really for me. You will find my freebie, which is 3 steps to your $100,000 idea in finding your digital product and doing it in half the time with AI. And for the summit, yes, I'm having a summit, and this will go live April 28th, and it's called Freedom Launchpad Summit. So much fun where I have 15 experts sharing their best secrets around how to get started, how to get your mindset in the right place, and also especially strategies to create the right messaging and to attract and align with the right clients. So hope to see you there.
Fantastic. It sounds incredible, and it'll be just after this goes live. So we will make sure that the link's in there. Go and once you've finished listening to this, go to the link below and go and sign up for Connie's Summit. It's going to be amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, Connie. This has been fantastic. And thank
Thank
you,
you,
everybody, for
Sarah.
listening. Thank you. And we look forward to catching you in the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you so much for joining me for another installment of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I would love for you to leave me a rating and a review so that other mompreneurs can find this podcast too. Here's to unapologetically becoming the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. I can't wait to chat with you in the next episode. Bye for now.